was Calyx doing here so far from Secor?
Hey guys, Carrie here. So I'm going to be showing you how you can get overpowered in Elex 1 from a brand new game without any glitches or exploits. Alright, so I'm only kidding about the commander armor there. We're not starting the game like that and with a companion, as nice as that would be. Just like most of my other videos, we're going to be starting off right from a brand new game. I'm on the normal difficulty. I'm going to be showing you exactly what I do to get overpowered early. So just follow along, collecting what I do, and you guys should come out at level 9. You'll be using a legendary bow for ranged weapon. It does insane damage. At the end of the video, if you stick around, I'll show a couple minutes there of some damage testing. First item right here at the start of the game is the Adventurer's Amulet. You want to make sure you grab that, it's going to come in handy later. And just make your way through that tutorial intro area, get out of that, and you'll meet your first companion, Duras. So once you're following him there, he's going to run you right by this corpse for your first early weapon. It's nothing special. I think it's maybe 1 or 2 points more than your lead pipe. You want to follow Duras until he's at about this point where he stops to talk to you. And you want to make sure you end the conversation here, because we're actually going to take off and leave him here. And we'll return later to continue following him and doing his quest. Just to make sure we can get back to him kind of easily here, grab this teleporter. And now we're just going to be heading off to, I'll mark the location, but there's another teleporter right here in front of this big building, the converter. Alright, so there's the converter right in front of me. So we're just grabbing that teleport. And again, we're not doing anything here yet. We're not quite strong enough. So it's just a teleporter on the way. Where we're actually heading to is this little outpost right here. This is where the berserkers are growing another world heart. So once you get here, you just want to run inside, and there's a little guy guarding this little back area here. If you go in behind him, you can actually crouch and steal most of the items he's protecting. So the main item that we're trying to get in here, there is an amulet, and once we get that, we're never going to take it off when we're getting XP. So that's the amulet of the provider, and immediately we want to put that on, because that's going to grant us additional experience every time we do something mission related. Alright, so here's the next location we're going to. We're just running up the road there, and that's going to get us our first companion. We're just running up the hill here on the way. You can grab a little bag of money. It's 50 Elexit, so it's not bad. So here's Arcs, and if you make all the dialogue choices that he wants to hear, he can really respect you. But basically you can't screw it up, he'll always join you. So get him on board. And then right on top here, a lot of people miss this, but yeah, there's another bag of money, and there is a Elex Drink, which we'll use later. Alright, so here's the small farm teleport. We're going to make sure we grab that, and then since it's right here, this item isn't essential, but since we're right here, we're going to grab it anyways. Up in this little chest, you can find some sunglasses, and I believe an amulet. Yeah, the scientist's amulet and the high-tech sunglasses. So, fun little items, why not? Okay, so the next spot we're going to, we have to climb up this rock face here. And there's a little structure right there. That's going to have a lockpick at the top of it. So a tip with your jetpack there, if you nurse it, constantly like button mashing the jetpack, you can actually use the fuel way more efficiently. You can get higher instead of just pressing and holding it. So once we have that lockpick, we're just going to backtrack slightly to this house. And just follow along with the lockpick as how I use it, because you don't want to break it. If you end up breaking it, just reload a save. But yeah, it's going to be that third pin. You go back to the first pin and then to the fourth one. Inside is some gear. The main thing we're grabbing there is the miner pants. That's going to have one of the highest defenses for early armor. And then just outside the domed city, we're going to go to that next little outpost structure. Jetpack on in, and inside the chest, we're going to find the Thief's Amulet. So that's really huge. The Thief's Amulet is what allows us to pickpocket, and then that Adventure's Amulet we got earlier is what allows us to lockpick at level 1. So since we're right here, you just want to speak to this guard, get that out of the way now. You just talk to him once and then hit end, because later on we'll be dealing with a quest for somebody and we need to speak to him. Alright, so I've activated the teleport, and now we're running over to this house here to get some ID cards off of a dead body. So my companion kind of takes the brunt of that. I'm just going to run in, wick, right there, you loot him for the set of ID cards. And you'll notice I'm still getting a lot of that additional XP every time I'm completing one of these little quests. So right from that house, if you cut across the water here, I'm just in front of this large structure. It's like a giant wind turbine. So if you're really efficient with your jetpack fuel, you guys can climb up this, and there's a lot of good loot at the top of it. Awesome. So yeah, up here there's going to be a couple cartons of cigarettes. That's 200 Elexit for each carton. So that's 400 bucks right there. And then of course that's where we get some sunglasses really early, the classic ones. And those are great because they highlight items so you can see things through walls and everything. Alright, so now we're going to be going way off to this structure here, this large building. And you can reach that from that small teleport there. This is that building here. Running inside on the bottom of this bookshelf here, we'll find a legendary weapon there. Alright, so now there's us just above my marker. Right there where I've placed a marker, that's going to be a teleporter. And then we're going to run inside a cave, which you can't see on this map. And then we're going to run out of the cave, down the road. And we're going to land somewhere kind of right around here. This is kind of like a big one run. So you maybe do a save right here at the top. I'll show you what I do to get in and out of this. So I jet back town, land on the teleporter. I run in this cave. There's a huge enemy in here. He can one-shot you, so you want to just be careful, get around the table. Collect the legendary weapon, Kiss of Death. And now we just beeline it out of here. When you get to the exit, you want to take a sharp left. And here we just run. There's so many enemies, so you have to run super far before everything de-aggroes on you. And then when you get to about here, cut a hard left. You can go around that enemy, up this hill. And then you'll be just out here in this wilderness area, and it should finally be a safe spot for you to maybe make a save or something. Alright, so there's my marker, so yeah, it's pretty close with where we ended up. So now from here, we're going to just take a swim out to this island. We can go ahead and grab this teleporter to return later. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to pickpocket the claw off of this NPC, Katta. And this is actually, she eventually gives it to you in a quest that you can do in the future. So okay, I got caught, so I got to reload my save and try again. You want to there we go, so we got it in our inventory. But yeah, you can still do her quest later on. She'll actually give you a second claw. It doesn't matter about pickpocketing it early. We just need to get that done. Alright, so now I'm going to be heading back to that converter teleport. And we're going to be running up to this little structure here. You can mark it as well. That's going to be our first set of armor for the chest. So you might need to put the Adventurer's Amulet on in order to pickpocket this. And yeah, just do what I do there. You go to that middle pin, back to the second pin, all the way to the last one, and then back to the first one. Again, if your lockpick breaks, just reload. And that's going to be the worker's armor. So now we've got the miner pants, the worker's armor, and we do have those sunglasses as well to see items. Okay, so back to the converter teleport, kind of right here, right around these shipping containers, you'll find this guy. I think his name's Korin. He was tasked with going to the converter to find these parts. And he also lost his weapon. Dude's useless. So anyways, we're going to go find some stuff for him because he gives out a lot of XP. So that's where his weapon is. It's at the back side of the converter on the ground. We're going to do that later. So now that we have arcs with us, we can actually take out these two guys rather quickly. And they're going to be some big XP gains as well. For the most part, you can help, but arcs will just take care of them for you. It's a good time to work on dodging and whatnot. So yeah, if you see that, like 90 experience, 525 experience. Alright, so now we're going to be progressing through the converter. So as you climb it, you want to be collecting these parts that are laying on the ground. So our first one is, before I leave here, it's right behind me. Right here, though. There's machine parts, 1 of 6. So there's 3 instances where you can collect these machine parts. And you also want to make sure you're killing all of the enemies through this tower, like I'm doing. Don't run by any of them, because that's again another quest. Alright, so they're killing some more enemies. So I'll give you guys the code here for this guy. But yeah, it's going to be 1438. That can open that up. You can pick up this. And that's just more experience, 210. You can use that later if you want with a quest. Going up to the final floor. You guys can kill these enemies. That's going to give us a huge burst of experience. I just leveled up off that. And then right from that elevator in the same room here, it's kind of behind us on the left. That's the 3rd and final machine parts from this converter. And then you want to activate the red button on this station. So that opened up the door. So that way we can just exit the converter from the roof now. And right up here we'll find another companion.
Good day.
So you can speak with this guy. You can let him know that we've killed all the enemies. And if you want extra money, you can actually ask him for payment. He doesn't like that, but he thinks it's reasonable, and he gives you 150 shards. So I recommend doing that, because no matter what, you can still get him as a companion. And now that I have him as a companion, I'm going to go ahead and send Arcs away. I'll take him with me. But yeah, if you saw that, that was another 500 experience just from getting that companion. Another bag of money, and you guys feel free to loot as many things. I'm just kind of doing sort of speedrun strats, so I'm just grabbing important things. But yeah, you can loot everything and anything. So I'd recommend making a save here, because that is where Korin's weapon is. So we're going to crouch in, grab the weapon, and run away until we can either teleport to safety or run back to Korin. The second you grab his weapon, that enemy does activate, so that's when we just turn and run. Alright, so if we give him his club back, 840 experience, absolutely massive. And this guy's actually a terrible person. I would recommend that you defeat him. Wow, 1 shard for bringing his weapon back. Okay. So that's insulting, so I'm going to kill him. So the reason I'm going to kill him is because he has the other 3 machine parts. So by killing him, we can collect those, get a ton of XP, And I promise this is probably one of the better ways to do his quest later on with the Berserkers. If you keep him alive, if you give him the machine parts, you just essentially set yourself back. Killing him is totally okay. The Berserkers basically already assumed he was dead. And you'll get a ton of experience for doing this. So now we're just heading back to the small camp teleport, and we're going to be climbing the rocks a little bit to a halfway point for a secret entrance right about there. Alright, so I like to get up from this roof here. Yeah, you just nurse that jetpack, you land right here, you can find this little hidden entrance. So there is 2 rats in here, and because we're going to be coming through here quite a bit, I'd recommend you take a minute and just kill them.
The claw will be your guide. So, you're the one who helped Katta. That speaks well.
Yep, that's us. We're the ones who helped Katta. We didn't just pickpocket her and leave. That's okay. Don't worry. It doesn't really affect anything. You can still do your things with Katta later on if you want.
I was sent to find you.
Alright, so that's Hector there. I'm going to recommend that you guys join the Claws like I do, because there's a ton of XP to come from this, and they're going to send you all across to the other factions to just grab items and do little things in the background. So it's just a perfect way to get a lot of XP and unlock a ton of new NPCs and potential merchants and whatnot.
Got it.
So I choose to pickpocket Hector's chest key from him using that Thief's Amulet. Little bag of money out there. And then inside Hector's chest, he's got a carton of cigarettes and 600 Elexits. That's like almost 800 bucks right there that we just grabbed from him. Make sure you pick up that legendary weapon. And then we're going to grab the dual skill amulet for later. So again, make a save, loot the chest key off of that guy as well. His chest is the small one over here, and you can take everything inside. But the big thing we want is that Elixit of healing. We're going to grab the mission from our job trunk. And I'll show you real quick just how much health this potion gives you. It's a permanent increase. So if you see my health bar there, that giant amount that I just gained, that's a permanent increase. That's why we're going to take that, because it's going to help us out. Alright, so finally, back to our old pal Duras, who has been patiently waiting for us at the small camp. We're going to put the amulet of the provider back on. And now I'm going to ask to go and search for survivors in this little outpost, or the ruins. Alright, so once we get in here, here's our first corpse of a dead cleric. Following along inside here, once you get to the stairwell, there's another guy you can loot. That's 2 of 5. The third guy is right here on this pile of rubble, and the weapon for number 4 is right there outside. And the last cleric is just in the side room here. So that'll be a bunch of XP for us, and it's going to help us out later with a quest. And now let him just take you to Goliath.
How long ago was that?
So that's about where he'll take you on the map. Make sure you unlock the teleporter. And yeah, I'm mainly just trying to make decisions with NPCs that decrease my cold. You guys can do whichever you'd like. There's the teleporter, and then we can head over to the main gate of the Berserkers camp.
You should know that Goliath is eternally vigilant in its search for albs.
Do I look like an alb?
Okay, sorry, that was just... I got a laugh out of that when I was playing earlier doing something. Anyways, just let him know that Duras sent you, and he will let us inside the camp. A lot of XP from doing all this.
All technology must be consigned to the past. Take it to the pit.
Okay, so I'm going to put on those sunglasses so we can now see items through walls. It's just very helpful. I honestly have a hard time wanting to use other headgear because it's just so useful. So right into Cinda's shop here. Show you guys on the map quick this building. And she's got the legendary weapon, the Snake Bite, over here. So as long as no one sees us, we're just going to swipe that and leave. Keep in mind, a lot of the legendary weapons in this game actually suck by the time you get the stats to use them. So that's why we're probably going to sell them. Alright, so inside Orin's bar here, this place is loaded with NPCs right now. So normally I would say you can come here at night to try and pickpocket the barkeep Orin. But I'm going to show you guys how you can do it during the day. Obviously it's easier at night. But yeah, we're going to switch our amulets out here to the Thief's Amulet. And I position myself just on the edge of being in the back of his bar. So as you can see, I get the highlight there to pickpocket him. So this is kind of my positioning. And then now all I'm going to do, make a save, and I'm just going to crouch. And if somebody sees me crouch, I'm going to stand back up. And I'm just doing this over and over again. The people constantly reset, the NPCs, and they walk around a bit. And eventually I'll crouch, and no one will comment on the fact that I'm crouching, which means I'm undetected right here. So then I can safely pickpocket his cellar key. So again, that is much easier at nighttime, but you can still do it during the day, it just takes a bit. Alright, so you can head down into his cellar here. There is a secret keyhole behind this broom. And it unlocks this trap door. So once we're down here, before we start picking stuff up, again, let's just make sure we put on that amulet of the provider, because we're going to be completing the Claws quest by grabbing these boxes. So we want that additional XP. And yeah, he also has like bags of money. There's a weapon down here. So yeah, you can get a lot of goodies coming down here. Okay, so right here we're back at the entrance to the bar. That's where we went in. If you just go around to the left, this is where we'll find the drop box for the Claws. They have these in all of the major cities, so we can deposit those supplies. So that completes that quest for the Claws. So as we just progress up through the Berserker's camp, you should get approached naturally by this guy here, Bertram, and he's going to question you about those cleric weapons. So you guys can proceed however you feel best. Again, I'm just going for money and XP, so I choose to have him buy the weapons off of me, because that's going to give me some experience, but it's also going to give me 300 shards. So somebody won't like that, but it's fine. I promise if you want to become a Berserker, you can still easily become a Berserker. So proceeding onwards there, you'll find the Armor Smith, and this guy will sell us a Hunter's Helmet, I believe that was called. Went a little quick through that, but anyways, that's the best headgear you can get early on for our level and not being in a faction. And we'll unlock his teleport for later. Okay, so now we're just going to run up here. There's Duras waiting for us. This is the big structure, another teleport. So we're going to come around to the back side here. This is the bedroom of like the guy who runs the Berserker camp, Ragnar. So just wait till this guard comes out, and then when the guard leaves, you can crouch walk in, and you can steal this sword off the wall, an antique sword. You could probably loot more from his place as well, but the guard is quick, so you have to be careful. Okay, so I'm just back down here, right outside the bar on the back side. So somewhere outside these buildings or in the bar, you will find an NPC, Alric. So that's what he looks like. I finally found him. Alright, so basically I'm choosing to give him sword. And again, somebody won't like that, but you get 1,000 shards for doing that. And I promise you can still join the Berserkers with that sword going to Alric. So then I change my stats there. So that way he can teach me chemistry. So that should have been 25 intelligence, and 15 dexterity. And he's usually outside that house. So then further on down here, we'll find this NPC. This is the one who sent Korin out to try and find those machine parts. So we can actually now hand those in, and look at that experience, 840, that is huge. He will ask about, what was that guy's name, Orin? Or Korin, yeah, here. He'll ask about Korin, and you just let him know he's dead. And yeah, like I said, this guy does not care at all. So that's how we complete that quest, getting all of the experience instead of sharing it with Korin. Okay, so back to the Dome City teleport. We're finally going to put those ID cards we got earlier to use. Just look for the guy, Hunter, in charge here. Speak with him for the fake ID cards to get us into the Dome City. Again, big experience for doing that. So speak to the guard, show him your ID. Again, make sure you're doing all of this with that amulet of the provider, because you'll be getting all that bonus XP for all of these XP boosts. So just inside the bar here, we're going to speak to the barkeep. We're going to go ahead and purchase 40 bottles of liquor from him. And then if you ask him for any news, you'll find he's actually a part of the claws. So when you end the conversation, he gives you a strange key. Alright, so we're going to exit the bar and just run up the hill here. Alright, so yeah, the road forks left and right. On the right side, there is an NPC that we're going to speak with in a bit. I'll point him out quick. He's just right here on my right side. Before I speak with him, though, let's go use that strange key. So if you come all the way up here, it's where there's this little fire by the wall. Right there, we can use the strange mechanism. So that's now unlocked a back entrance into the Claw's hideout for us. Just down here on the left, this little trapdoor has opened. So we need a bunch of money. So inside the Claws, we can grab our 300 reward from doing that quest at the Berserkers camp. Make sure we grab our new task here, which take place at the cleric's base, and then we're going to speak to this guy. He's a merchant, and I'm going to sell him all of the legendary weapons that I've picked up so far, and any other trinkets and whatnot that I don't need. Make sure you sell off all those cartons of cigarettes. Those are only good for turning them into Elexit. Don't sell your liquor. But yeah, just sell whatever you want. Basically, we just need to make sure we have between 8 and 9,000 Elexit by the end of the transaction with him. So I just find all the junk and I'm just offloading it with him. There's all those cigarettes. That's a huge gain right there. Done. So now we just go back up the ladder. Again, if you nurse your jetpack, you can just get out of there a little quickly. So now that we have all that money, this guy here we can buy a bunch of goodies from. So I offered him my support, by the way, to unlock him as a merchant. You can do that as well. And he sells natural Elexit, so make sure we buy that, and then the potion to make the Elex Drink. We are not going overboard, don't worry. We're not going to be drinking a lot of these. We're only actually going to be drinking 21 of them. So make sure you buy 80 of the natural Elex from him. Just 80. And then we'll have that extra potion that we found earlier, so that'll give us our 21. So just around the corner from him, we can find Gaia, who's going to be our next companion. So you speak with her, and she'll move off to the front gate. So at this point, I'm just going to send this guy packing. So then when you exit the Dome City, there she is waiting for you. Again, make sure you've got that amulet on, because this is going to be some big experience. 525 plus 1050. Absolutely huge, and that is how we get her as a companion. Alright, so now we can go all the way up to Hort. It just works out perfect because the claws need us to go inside Hort, and then outside of the cleric's area there is going to be some items that we need. So the first one, just mark this structure and try your best to safely run over here. Alright, so this is the building that we need to go inside of. So right here in this sleeping bag is going to be a two-handed fire sword level 2, a disgustingly strong two-handed weapon. Pop a flare so we can see what we're doing, and right below it on this little blue container is the Survival Artist's Amulet. So yeah, just a super strong sword. And then the Survival Amulet. That one's huge because it's giving us plus 10 into the dexterity stat. So that could come in handy later depending on what weapons you want. I think I do use it. Now that we have those, we can go back to Hort. So speaking with the guy here at the Hort, I offered to bribe him, and he gave me my money back. So just make sure you have enough for the bribe. I think it's about 80 Elexit. And he reveals himself as a claw. So now you can actually use him as a merchant as well. He doesn't have anything at the moment that I want. So we're just going to be running in. You can mark the quests too on your map if you need a hand finding the items in here. We're just doing the Claws quest for inside Hort. So you just got to go into the very far back corner. It's kind of like a mechanic shop right here across this bridge. So yeah, they've got some mechs hanging from the roof, and they've got some workbenches. We go up to level 2. And inside this office here, they've just got a blueprint sitting here. So we grab that. That's the first item that the claws need. Alright, so then zip back a little bit this way to the left. And this is where we'll get the inside teleport to Hort. There we go. And then right in this next building, this is where we're going to be going. So the guard for me, since it's nighttime, he's over there straight ahead of me. He's like taking a knee, praying or something. Normally he's right there guarding that door. So if that's the case for you, jetpack up here, and you can use this bed right here to rest until midnight. And then eventually that guard will go and stand over there like he is for me, where he's taking a knee. So now you crouch, and you are going to be moving painfully slow down here, but there are people sleeping down here right now. So if you're not crouched, you'll wake them up, and we won't be able to get this quest completed. So yeah, just follow the path that I take. Grab whatever you want down here, by the way. There's a lot of loot. I'm sure if you put on those sunglasses, you'll see it all highlighted, and you can grab so much stuff. I'm just going to be going for the essentials. Okay, so right in here, this is where we have to switch out our amulet quickly. So we're going to put on the Thief's Amulet because we have to do 2 pit pockets. Because we need these research documents. You want to make sure you do this first before collecting the other ones. Because when we, what is she doing? That person is sleeping like they're dead. Wow. So we switch that amulet back to the provider, because then when we get the other 2 books, like there's just 1 left now, we'll get that extra XP. We can't get it if we pickpocket them last, because we won't have that amulet on. So this book isn't a part of the quest, but if you walk in here and grab it, it gives you more XP. And if you end up going through the route of the clerics on your playthrough, that book will help you. So anyways, there's the quest completed, extra XP. Now I'm just gonna sprint out of here because we can just leave. Doesn't matter if they wake up and hear us, you just run out and go. So directly outside from here, you go right below the bridge here. There's the drop box, so we can deposit those items. So just like that, we've done our job for the claws now, all the way out in Hort. Alright, so when we return to the claws hideout, your job trunk will have a bunch of Elexit in it. And make sure we grab the next objectives. Alright, so this is going to be a bit of a run, small trek here. So I'm going to be going from the blacksmith teleport all the way into this desert area. Zoom in a bit, so right around here, that's where we'll find a teleporter. So I'll see you guys over there. Alright, so just below this large wind turbine, that's going to be our teleporter, and then off in the distance there, that is the city of the Outlaws. So let's just make sure we highlight the quests that we need so we know where we're going. First one is going to be the recording device, because it's right on the outskirts of their base. So with these guys, honestly, if you just hop the wall with your jetpack, you'll get in, get the XP for getting in, and you don't need to pay the guard to enter the fort. Super annoying if you go that way. So the recording is in this back left room. If there is NPCs in there, you just have to sleep until morning. So right here's a bed you could use. Obviously it's morning right now for me, so no one's in here. So I'm just running in and quickly picking that up. Alright, so the next one is going to be robbing Bob. So we're going to go ahead and sleep to nighttime. Here's Mad Bob. Make a little save edit just to be safe in case he is alerted. And there's his key. So again, 400 XP. Super huge. Alright, so the next one is off in this main structure. So up on the second or third floor there, you can come over here to this desk. You can examine Logan's notes. If you want to read it anyways, that's where you get the safe code. I'll just show it to you as well. But yeah, this is why it has to be nighttime. Normally there's a guard right here in this room. So because it's nighttime, he's not. We can get the legendary weapon, the Thunderclap, some items, and then we can open up Logan's chest, which is 8641. And that's going to complete that quest for the claws. So in this same building, if you go all the way to the bottom of it, under the stairs, you'll find the campmaster sleeping. And I just like to point him out because he's actually the only person that you can get a protective mask from. And that just gives you some poison resistance. So just a nice item to grab. It's not too expensive. Can't find it in the wild. So just outside that building that we were in there, that's the teleporter. drop down from the teleporter, and here's the drop box for the Outlaws. And yes, you're safe to give Mad Bob's key. That literally opens nothing useful in the game. It's meant to just go in the drop box. Alright, so the next location we're going to is going to be these little like domes right there. So I think it's a little quicker from this teleport. So when you come in here, this guy's going to be fighting a bunch of rot boars. I'm just going to stand here hovering over the chain saber on the desk, and I waited until his back was turned so I could just steal it from him and leave. You guys can help him out if you want. He can fend for himself though. He'll fight those guys, no problem. So just running up over here to where these big pipes and staircases are. There's some really strong enemies down here. So I kind of just bait them out away from that back wall. Because if you run all the way over here in the wall, you can grab a chainsword level 1. And then you just want to hightail it out of there to safety. Alright, so then we're going to take a swim out to this island. So this island is full of poison. If you want, you can put on your protective mask to help. You're just dropping down and picking up the Ring of Power. There is an enemy, so be careful, make a save. Getting that protective mask will help a little bit from that radiation. And just like that, we're all done out in this area. So now we're heading back to the small camp. Okay, so I chose to leave this clip in just in case this ever happens to you, where the game does not load properly and you fall through the map. So if this happens, at any point, just save your game, reload it, like fully close application, like get out of the game and then go back in. Because right here, as you can see when I hit the water, it teleported me back to this island. So that's where the game thinks I am, and that's why it's not loading properly. So you can fix that with a save, hard close, and reload. So now I return back to the claws, and they actually will kind of disband and leave here. So you can speak to them, do whatever else you want from them. If you needed something from the one that's like a merchant, they actually start giving you like their keys now for their chests, but we've already taken most of those. Just a huge amount of Elexit in the job trunk from doing all of their quests. Alright, now we're off to this structure in the middle of nowhere. You can get there quickly from the dome teleport. Alright, so once you get to this little town, use your jetpack to climb up into the tower here, and this is where we can find the Phantom String, a legendary bow. It's going to have disgusting damage and for once have somewhat achievable stats. So that's right there, and there's a little teleporter if you need it so you can return to this camp. Anyways, we're going to go back to the blacksmith teleport because we are getting close to being done with this now. So here's a workbench. You guys can use that recipe to make Elex drinks. And we're going to make them using the liquor and the natural Elexit to get 20 potions. So we should have a total of 21 now. And we can go ahead and drink all those. Alright, so stats, just set them exactly to what I do. We're going 55 strength, 25 dexterity, put the Ring of Power on, put the dual skill amulet on, and now look at those stats. Now we're at 70 and 30, and we're going to dump the rest in Constitution to get to 19, and that last point in dexterity. So that's what your stats should be, and by doing that we can now use the Phantom String, which is just going to be a huge damage spike, and we can also start using some of these swords. So I'm going to throw the chain saber on as well. That is a nice little damage boost for a one-handed weapon, and we can now wear this armor that we've been collecting. Worth mentioning as well, if you do speak to this guy, now that we've got lots of money, you can also buy a regular warrior's sword from him. And you guys will be 2 points shy of being able to use that warrior's sword. It's a really strong two-handed weapon, so make sure you grab that. Alright, so anyways, now that we have the phantom string, we're going to run down to this guy, this merchant, and you can just repeatedly buy arrows from him until you have a lot. So I think I bought maybe 300 or 400 arrows from him. Oh, maybe maybe more. But anyways, just buy a lot of arrows because you're going to go through those so quick. Now we're just going to zip up to this next house right here, where this is one of the trainers that can teach us stuff. Cormag. Alright, so we can learn melee weapons and range weapons level 1 from him. That's going to be a 10% damage bonus in those categories, so that's definitely worth grabbing. Alright, so now we're going to run all the way down here to speak with this berserker who was exiled. We can learn animal trophies from him. You want to start pumping into animal trophies because that's how you can get your extra, you can get money from animals, they drop better things. And then that's where we get the hunter's armor as well from this guy. So if we take a look at the hunter's armor, that's going to be the best armor that you can wear at this level. And we just set the stats to being able to use it. Okay, so optional here, you guys can speak to him if you'd like, and he'll go on a quest with you to kill some raptors. Or we can just go straight ahead. They're in between this marker and ourselves in that little brown pit area. So as I'm running over to this marker I've set, I just kind of stumbled upon them. And I figured now would be a good time to do some damage testing. So right here I'm showing you that in the Berserker's skill tree you can get Scatter Shot. But if you have the Phantom String Bow, you just get that ability. It's absolutely crazy that you don't need to be a Berserker to use this ability. That's why this is a legendary weapon. And as you can see, I just totally smoked those guys out and got 1400 XP. So this is that marker we set, this building here. Drop right down in through the roof. I'll put on my protective mask, pop a flare. And down at the bottom here, when you go down, it is poisonous, but you can just run in to grab the energy sword level 1 and then get out. That's going to be an insanely strong one-handed weapon that you'll be almost able to start using. Okay, so I'm going to make a little save here, show you guys there, just under 1 hour, 40 minutes. And keep in mind, I was marking locations and going a little slower. So I think normally this run takes me about 1 hour and 10 minutes. We have 3 companion choices. We've got really, really good stats across the board. We've come out at level 9. Our cold value is still neutral, so you guys can take this wherever you want. We've got some damage in melee weapons and ranged weapons. Keep an eye on those as well, because it looks like I can already go up to melee weapons level 2, so that's pretty sweet. And then yeah, we got those animal trophies, so as you kill creatures, you'll get more loot that can sell for more and sustain your money. Eventually you can upgrade your ranged weapons too, down the road there. If you focus on dexterity and intelligence, that'll help with your bow. But yeah, we got the chain saber that we can immediately start using. That's really good damage. And then you can upgrade it to the chain sword level 1 as well. Once you get there, that's 42 damage. And then eventually bring it up to an energy regen sword for the most damage right now, early on. Your warrior's sword, level 0, that's going to be big two-handed damage, and then eventually you can go into the two-handed fire sword, level 2. Like, that's disgusting damage, and it does fire. That's just going to be a weapon you keep. Eventually, using your Phantom String, you can retire it to the Thunderclap there. Because, yeah, the Phantom String is going to carry you for a long, long time. And actually, I'll show you quick. If you go to the Berserker skill tree, which I'm not a part of, you can see right here, the Scatter Shot and Seeker Shot. I can't have those. They're not unlocked yet. But with the Phantom String, you get those abilities. So that's just insane. But yeah, like I was saying, anyways, once you're done with the Phantom String, then you can move into the Thunderclap for some insane ranged damage. Armor-wise there, we got our Hunter's Helmet, Protective Mask, a couple pairs of sunglasses. We're looking pretty good. Got the Hunter's Armor, best armor that you can find early on. Miner Pants. I like them better than the Hunter Leggings. You can find those for free as well, but I like the Miner Pants. We got the Ring of Power for the +10 in strength. And we got a lot of good amulets, like a ton of them, right? So you guys can decide exactly what you want to do when you want to do it. Obviously, you want to try and get those stats up as you level up to not rely on the dual skill amulet. Because then you can start switching it out again for Amulet of the Provider or Thief's Amulet. It's totally up to you guys for where you want to take those. But yeah, that's the build. On top of that, you have all of this map to explore still. We've got a few teleporters activated to help you out along the way, but still a large portion not discovered. So just for some quick damage testing here. So that's the single shot fire. If I stay on the single shot, trying to fight this big troll, you'll notice that it doesn't seem like I'm really doing anything. So once you switch it to the scatter shot, that's when you'll seriously notice some damage, because then it's 5 arrows every time we take a shot. So here, let's see what that looks like. Now we can actually notice chunks of this troll's health going. And we're like just over an hour into the game. So just like that, that is how we can get overpowered without glitches or exploits in Elex 1. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, found it helpful. I know there's probably not too many people playing this game in 2025, but here we are. I think I'm going to move on to some other Piranha Bytes games, honestly. Been having an itch for them, so maybe you'll see me on Elex 2 doing the same thing. See ya.